Three, two, one. Welcome to the O Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
How you doing, Dan?
Wait a second. Am I Mike Smith or are you Mike Smith?
Where's my 3D glasses?
I'm kidding. Hold on. Can we do? Let me take them off, and then I'm going to give them to you.
Yeah.
So here, I'm gonna hand them to you. This reminds me of that old video. I'm going to hand them to you right about now.
I don't know how to put them on.
Yeah, that's why I knew that gag wasn't going to go anywhere.
No, went nowhere. I was looking for the thing, to click on it, but
so listen,
all I have is reactions.
Yeah, don't even bother.
This is going to be the worst episode of Oh Brother.
This actually
history.
Which in turn might be the best episode of Oh Brother. So coming at you on June 18th, 2021, when you hear this, and we are going to do a review of the recently released horror film, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Very important to get that subtitle in there as well. And now this is a sequel to two other films, and I've recently learned
Annabelle.
It's the eighth film in what I didn't even realize we had, which is the Conjuring universe. Did you even know there was such a universe?
Well, yeah, I know Annabelle.
Well, right. It probably includes,
is one of them. But what are the others?
I'm making no claim to know any of the Conjuring universe.
You don't know the other, because I've seen the three Conjuring movies, and I've seen all of a sudden the Warrens, who were the two people in this, showed up in one of the Annabelle movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the other movies are.
It doesn't matter. And before we get too deep into this, if you are not following us, make sure that you do. And the best way to find all things Oh Brother is to go out to our official website, which is OHB as in brother podcast.com. That's OHB as in brother podcast.com. You get access to all our social media content out there. Follow our blog. We've got a pretty recent blog out there about the hits and misses of Al Pacino, which was a couple of episodes ago that we did on Al. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel there. We'd love if you did that and like our videos out there. We put out all of our episodes on our YouTube channel. So now we have done a few episodes previously on horror films. It's not, we've certainly done, but we've made it clear we're not horror aficionados by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
However,
I
do want to say a couple of points of praise that I hope maybe I get, if not from the listeners, from you. For those of you watching on YouTube, behind me, and we can talk about what you got behind you as well. Behind me, well, I got a couple of things. Here I have The Exorcist and The Thing, another John Carpenter film, actually.
Okay.
And then, of course, the awesome Jack from The Shining Funko Pop that you got me recently.
Okay.
Over here,
it's a big stack.
I have the entire Halloween franchise represented on a mix of Blu-ray and 4K. And there's a couple of special editions that I have standing up that you can see on the upper and lower shelf. All that awesome Danielle Harris signed Funko Pop of Michael Myers up top, which is awesome. I even have Halloween, some Halloween on DVD still.
Yeah.
And so if there's any franchise that I'll maintain a devotion to physical media, it's Halloween. So not the biggest horror fan on the planet, but give it up for at least my
you like your Halloween
devotion to Halloween. Yeah. So now
I know you've Halloween films too,
and you have a lot of other horror films as well.
I do. What I have up here twice, right here, are both Ghostbusters, because today's Ghostbusters Day.
Yeah. Which, see, this is that argument, right? That is that real? Are those really horror films?
No.
Right.
They're comedies.
Okay, but you're putting it out because it's Ghostbusters Day.
That's all.
even though that's long over by the time you hear this episode.
Right.
However, relevant
Since we're recording.
nonetheless. Yeah.
And then I've got The Omen here.
The Omen. Yeah.
And then I've got all the Chucky movies here.
Mm-hmm.
Then if as we go to this side to my left is there's a Halloween movie.
Rob Zombie's version, which I love, which there's a
Correct.
connection to Chuck. What's the connection to Chucky and the Rob Zombie Halloween films?
I was gonna say
The actor's name is
is it
he was the
Billy
long
Bibbit?
yeah, he was
Yeah, because he was the sheriff.
Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif.
Plays
I
Sheriff
always
Brackett.
forget his name.
Plays Sheriff Brackett in Zombies Halloween 1
That's
and 2.
right.
And he was the longtime voice of Chucky.
Yes. Still is, although he wasn't in the latest movie. The latest movie, which I don't think I even have. It was Mark Hamill.
That's right.
Was Chucky.
Great voice
but
actor.
That's because it was made by a whole totally different crew and company. They're supposedly working on a Chucky TV show, which Brad Dourif is still going to be the voice of Chucky.
Yeah, I think I read something about that.
And the last Chucky, I think it was called The Curse of Chucky before they did it with Mark Hamill. His daughter, his real life daughter, got involved and she was really good.
Mm-hmm.
She was really quite funny and added something new to where the franchise could go on
right
indefinitely.
But of course, what else you got?
Yeah, and beside that, I have Friday the 13th, the entire box set.
Sure.
Then I've got Get Out, which is Jordan Peele.
Right.
And then the scariest of all, the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, that's frightening for sure.
Because we are one game from being eliminated.
We are in a jam, folks. Okay, so The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, release date June 4th, 2021. Directed by Michael, I'm not sure if it's Chaves or Chaves. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, and he does not have a very long resume, at least when it comes to film or TV, quite frankly. So I wasn't familiar with his work.
The first two Conjuring films were James Wan. Right. People should know his name because he's kind of like the new master of horror. He started Saw.
Right.
He basically gets these things started and then hands them off to some, his DP or whatever.
Yeah, and this has a current Rotten Tomatoes rating of 59% from the critics.
Wow.
And 84% from the audience. So, which just goes to prove horror is bankable, man. People love horror movies, and so much, in fact, that we're talking about a recently released horror film in June.
Right.
So, and that's become a thing. Like, I don't even remember when that shift happened. That was not the way it used to be back in the day.
Always October.
Yeah, or even leading up to that. You could get them even as early as August, into through November, and even sometimes December, like Silent Night, Deadly Night was the first film I ever snuck into as a kid. So I had no business being in that film, but or seeing that film. So yeah, I mean, that just goes to show you that there's a huge market for this genre, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. And James Wan's good at it. And what I've noticed is the people that take over for him stay within his style. They basically mimic his style. So the quality isn't horrible, I mean,
there's some consistency there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's funny because this is a very spontaneous episode. We were sort of, we were pitching ideas for upcoming episodes, and I got to say, there's nothing like taking a real nice respite from the podcast. This hiatus has done wonders.
Yeah, I know. We're doing more during the hiatus than we did before.
Yeah, folks, the secret to a productive podcast: report that you're taking a hiatus from that podcast, and you'll be cranking them out. But we were pitching episodes, episode ideas for future episodes, and we just sort of stumbled into this one because you mentioned
you would
horror.
yeah, and then you saw it in the theater, which
Yeah, I was
kind
like,
of
oh
took
wait,
me back.
I just saw this in the theater. Correct. I saw it last week.
In
So
fact, you said to me, "Well, I just saw one in the theater, but you didn't see it." So, and I said, "Well, what was it?"
right.
And you said, "The
You'll,
Conjuring." I said, "Yeah, I just
yeah, no, I
watched it.
saw it. Yeah, I saw it. So here we
I see
are.
everything."
So here we are. Now, yeah, I don't know if you want to just give a brief synopsis of the film, and then we can just kind of give our take on it, and
Yeah,
that'll be
it'll
that.
be quick. Basically,
Talk about
this
like the Warrens. You mentioned the
yeah,
Warrens.
Ed and Lorraine Warren,
Yeah,
this real life couple that were kind of Ghostbusters, if you think about it, since it's Ghostbusters Day. But
played by Patrick Wilson and Vera
Vera
Farmiga.
Farmiga,
Yeah.
and Patrick Wilson.
Faminga. you are you are continuing with your tradition of butchering names.
I,
it was
hey,
Martin Sheehan and Ben Affleck. We're gonna
hey,
get them in. They're starring in an upcoming horror film alongside Vera Farmiga. It's called "What the hell are we
Faminga.
doing here?"
That's a little Boston accent coming out there,
Well, it is right. You're
but
trying to overcorrect, but anyways,
I was basically jumping on Patrick Wilson, who
yeah.
I swear is taking some kind of injectable something to
He's found
keep
the
him.
fountain of youth.
He has found the fountain of youth more
Yeah.
than anyone.
Yeah.
He
Well, you could
looks
say the
the
same
same
about
for 25
about
years.
her too. I mean, Vera Farmiga looks
Yeah.
fantastic too,
Yeah, she does.
But in terms of his representation in the film, yeah.
Yeah, and he looks, I mean, I know him from other movies as you do some movies,
Right.
and he just always looks the same. You'll see a 25-year-old movie with him in it, and he's like totally the same.
Yeah.
And they're not de-aging him or anything.
Yeah,
So
if
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
mistaken, because I immediately when I saw, he's one of those again, recognizable immediately, but you may not be able to
Yeah.
put your finger quite on what the films are that you've seen him in. And I think he had a part in Prometheus, if I'm not mistaken. I looked that up afterwards, and I was
Oh,
like, oh,
really?
okay, maybe that's what's stuck in my brain. Yeah,
Aquaman is where I think you
Aquaman. Yeah, well, I
I
shut
didn't
that out
see
of
it,
my memory
but I
banks.
knew he
Yeah,
was in it.
yeah. Who starred in that? I don't even couldn't even tell you.
Just
Horrible.
Jason Momoa, that's all I know.
No, it's horrible.
But anyway, Ed and Lorraine Warren are these real life, I don't know, paranormal. I don't know what you call them.
Yeah. Well, let's call them Ghostbusters since it's
Yeah.
Ghostbusters Day.
So they basically investigate things of paranormal nature, ghosts and whatnot.
Right.
I'm surprised you said 8. I'm really curious now. I'm sure I know the other ones, but now I've got to look it up because I knew the Conjuring, I knew they were in Annabelle,
Mm-hmm.
but it's bugging me that I can't think of the other ones because I've probably seen them. I've seen all 3 of these Conjurings, and I
Yeah.
happen to be up at Friday night when it came on HBO.
Okay.
That's how I saw it.
They're demonologists would be the appropriate term.
What they call themselves.
Right. Demonologists.
So I happened to be awake and like I was on HBO Max looking for something. It was 3 o'clock in the morning
Mm-hmm.
and it said coming, at midnight on Pacific time, The Conjuring 3. So I stayed up and watched it because I've seen the other 2. And this is what they are is they basically take a case from their history. This couple has a history of investigating different things, and frequently they would hit the news. So this was back in 81. This real life happened.
Yeah.
And the reason it hit the news is because the couple or what happened, I don't know if I should give that away. Should I? Is that too much of a giveaway? I don't think so.
Now go for it.
Because what they were investigating, the demonic possession, was then alluded to in court where that was the defense.
Correct.
The defense was I was possessed by demons.
Mm-hmm.
And they used the Warrens video as proof.
Right. Right.
So this is a case, and I think the case was labeled "The Devil Made Me Do It." And James Wan's case, I think it was "The Money Made Me Do It." is his reasoning. But
Well, yeah, according to Rotten Tomatoes, and it's already made its money. I mean,
I'm sure.
the budget was 39 million,
Yeah,
and it's already pulled in almost 60 million.
it's amazing.
And you know, the
Amazing.
theaters are barely open yet. I mean, they're starting to
Right.
open up, but
And anything new, like if you
Mhm.
were going to open something, and it's not that good,
Right.
now's the time to do it. But these movies have a following,
Sure.
and that's the thing. I mean, this is the eighth movie.
And I think this was a case where it's good for me to go in zero expectations.
Because you've not seen one of them.
Not seen any of them, no. And so these films just typically don't, like, again, I don't, these films don't bother me. There's very few of this genre that really sort of bother me. And, you know, if I'm going to go see a horror film, I want to get the creeps, you know,
Right.
and of course, you know, a shameless plug. I have to say the original Wrong Turn movie did that for me in the theaters. Halloween still can do that to me, you know, if it's done well. And like Rob Zombie's, you know, he knows
His
how
were
to do
more
that.
gory though than
That's what I'm saying.
Fright. Yeah.
Yeah, well, but it's something about, like, with Rob Zombies, there was something about, and I'll make this point relevant to the Conjuring. This Conjuring is this. If there's an aspect of it that I can latch onto that's believable, that makes it that much more scary, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if there's a element of truth in it, it's like, oh my God, that's like
Right.
really, you know, that's
And with
frightening.
these movies, at the end of the movies,
Hmm.
anyone who's seen any of them, they show some of the real life stuff, and
And
the
that's really,
extras usually
yeah,
hear some of the
and that's
recordings.
pretty creepy.
It is.
It's
It
pretty
is.
creepy.
And it's bugging me that I don't know the other
Oh,
movies.
well, you know, while you're talking, I can try
Yeah,
to
you
look
can
them
look it
up.
up.
Yeah.
So this case was basically they were investigating a child that
Hmm.
was being possessed, and they were basically going to take him to the church to do an exorcism.
Yeah, right.
And they they go to the house. This is how the movie kind of begins. They go to the house, and they've got the priest ready to do the exorcism, but the kid starts I think the demon inside the kid starts reacting to the priest, and the priest instantly whips out the crucifix. So all of a sudden, an emergency breaks out. They have to do the exorcism right there and then.
Yeah.
So they grab him, they hold him down on the table, and is it his brother or just a family
It's
friend?
just a family friend.
Just a
No,
friend.
well, actually, you know what?
Yeah,
Is it
because
his
it's his
brother?
sister. Yes,
Right.
it's his it's
Right.
it's
Right.
his sister's boyfriend,
Boyfriend, I guess. Yeah.
and Ed Warren is saying, "Hold him, help us hold him down," and then the boyfriend grabs him, the little kid, and says, "If you're in there,
And
take me. Leave
like
the
any
little
good
kid alone."
demons, he jumps from one host to the next.
Exactly.
And there you go.
And
Yeah.
then off we go.
And off we go. Now, all right. So hold on. Here's the films.
Okay.
So now, oops. All right, hold on now. I got to go back here. All right. So
I'm thinking there's more than
the
one Annabelle
Conjuring. All
film.
right, hold on now. The Conjuring debuted in 2013. Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, of course, is the one we're talking about now.
Uh,
And let's see.
the Conjuring 2.
Yeah. So all right. So here it is. Here it says The Nun.
That's what it is.
Okay. Annabelle Creation.
Right.
Then
That was
then
weird because there
let
was
me get through
two.
this list first.
Okay.
And then Annabelle. And then The Conjuring. Annabelle Comes Home.
So they were in 3 Annabelle
The
movies.
Curse of La Llorona. The Conjuring 2, and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. There you go.
Okay.
So
So I wasn't far off, and I've seen the Annabelle
this is
stuff.
how they were released. It was The Conjuring, Annabelle, The Conjuring 2, Annabelle Creation, The Nun, The Curse of La Llorona, if I'm saying that right, I don't know. Annabelle Comes Home, and then this new one, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
the thing
There
is
you go.
I looked up Annabelle, and they were I don't think they were in the original.
Yeah, I again, I could not tell you, but I will
So
say, you know, I walked out of this again. I went in no expectations. I walked in, going, yeah, it was all right. It was okay for a horror
yeah,
film. I mean, it had all the things you're looking for in a horror film, all the right amount of jump scares. And I got to tell you, being in because I was in the theater
yeah,
and it's in one of these luxury theaters, and the sound in this theater was crazy. There's a scene in the first 5 minutes of the film. There's this knock on a door.
hmm,
It was so loud and it came from like the left side.
yeah.
So that had a lot to, because that can really kind of heighten
How did the
those.
audience react?
It wasn't that crowded still. It was still pretty thin.
Yeah,
But there certainly wasn't, gasps or
right,
people. There's nothing
right,
like that. I honestly, I think even the most hardcore fan is so desensitized to all that.
right.
If anything, they're probably smirking or giggling more than they are frightened.
Yeah, because I can't think of one time I was frightened.
In this,
Yes,
no, 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 definitely not. But again, and I will
it's just kind
say,
of
did
creepy.
did you? And this won't give anything away, but there's a scene towards the end of the film. It has to be, to me, it's a clear nod to The Shining.
Hmm.
The end of The Shining where Jack's got the axe and he's going after um Shelley Duvall's
Hmm.
character, right? His wife.
Hmm.
There's a scene where Patrick Wilson is has a sledgehammer and he's
Right,
going after somebody in this scene. And the way that it's shot, some of the shots
right.
are right out. If you remember from The Shining, those low angles that Kubrick gets, and
Yes,
he's actually focused almost more on the axe at some
yes,
points, right?
yes.
It's the same thing. If you go back and you were to watch this again, you would say,
Yeah, I'd
yeah,
have to see
that's
it again.
had to be a nod to The Shining, I would imagine.
But I watch these more like it's more like entertainment, which is kind of
Yeah, but
sick, I think.
well, no, I mean that's a little escapism. You're just looking to
Yeah.
not have to think so hard for maybe for a couple hours.
And they're well acted. See, the thing
Hmm.
I don't know if it was the nun. There was an old woman early on. I don't know if she was in the original Conjuring because there's another
Oh.
movie
Hmm.
now that I think of it that this woman who was a uh she didn't call herself the demonologist, but and they also made a movie with just her
Yeah.
before she met the Warrens. So I got to look up who that is too.
Yeah.
So see, like we're not experts on this stuff.
No, no, but it's interesting because I think our rating of this might be better than our previous episode of Cruella.
Yeah,
We might be more favorable to The Conjuring.
only be the acting. You these are experienced actors
Yeah.
that
And the older guy that's in it.
that the priest or
I get no, the another main character that's in it.
mhm.
He's familiar. Almost looks like a Herman Munster.
Yeah,
Reminds me of Herman Munster. He's got that kind of
yeah, I
look like
forget
Pet
his actor.
Cemetery and
Right.
the Stephen King.
Oh,
But
we should know his name. That's
I just
terrible.
can't. I know it's terrible, isn't it? But yeah, I agree. The acting was good. I think that's the thing. You've got people that can bring credibility to
Right.
a movie that otherwise, I don't know, maybe. Although again, there's some good directing in it
Yeah.
for what it was. And again, it's based on some true events, and the story was pretty decent.
And I'm
You know,
sure that the DVDs, when they come out, the extras will have some of the real
it'll probably be
stuff.
loaded with extras too, I would
They'll have
imagine.
probably some footage from the courtroom.
Right,
And
right.
if there's no cameras in the court, they'll have audio from the courtroom, because that was kind of the big thing when the lawyer wasn't going to do it. The lawyer's like, I'm not going to say. And they said, look, come to the Warrens' house and watch their stuff.
Hmm.
And then she goes to the Warrens' house, and then there's an instant cut, and she's in court saying, we're pleading guilty by way of demonic possession or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a jump cut.
This film also had a staple of any good horror film, which is a really creepy looking little kid. I
Yeah.
mean, how creepy was this little kid looking with his big old glasses, pushed down on his nose? It just, I don't know. He was just
And
very
then
odd looking.
and that's when the
No offense
special
to
effects,
the
yeah,
actor,
because
but
all of it, there was a lot of special effects
right.
when he's on the table and he's going through the exorcism, or they try to do the exorcism.
I would
Some
imagine
creepy
that my
stuff.
experience was influenced by the fact that it was in the theater on the big screen. Because if you
Yeah.
think about it, imagine seeing that on a big
Yeah.
screen. It was pretty intense, and with the sound as well. I noticed that they at one point in the film, the Warrens go to Danvers, Massachusetts, which is not too far up the road from where we grew up.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of funny. We have a story that we can't really tell that took place in Danvers many years
Well,
ago.
I spent
But
a lot of time in Danvers,
maybe once we get a
Massachusetts.
Patreon going, that'll be a
We'll
bonus
reveal
for
that.
our
Yeah.
subscribers. Yeah, our
Yeah.
Patreon members. We'll reveal that. It's kind of like Carly Simon not revealing who the character
The,
is in You're So
yeah.
Vain.
You're so vain.
So yeah, I mean, I thought it was decent. I really don't have
Yeah.
anything bad to say about this particular film. It's pretty
Like,
decent.
I don't, neither one of us have any of the Conjuring movies up behind us, because I'm not going to go out and buy this movie, and I'm not going to get this new one either.
Right.
But for people who are fans of these movies, the Annabelles,
Yeah,
the
yeah. Grab it.
Nun,
Definitely get it.
this is just more of the same.
Yeah, and I
So
would
if you like
say
those, they'll like
sure.
this.
Definitely. No
Yeah.
question about it. Now, if one were to buy the physical copy, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to perhaps taking the digital code and adding that to
Is
my
that
collection.
is that
You know,
a sign that maybe I should buy that?
well, listen, you do what you
Half
want to
your
do,
half
but
your library is from me.
I know, I love it. And half my library, my physical library, is Halloween, as you can see
Yeah.
over here. So it's
Now
can't wait for the next Halloween. Which, wait, by the way,
oh
I
yeah,
I
an
do have to.
update.
Well, not an update, but I have to say, uh, the Halloween series. I'm reading this, folks. When compared to the other top-grossing American horror series, which would include Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, Friday the
Friday the
13th,
13th.
the Hannibal Lecter series, Psycho, Saw, Scream, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and
Chucky
adjust.
should be in there.
I said Child's Play.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
And adjusting for 2018 inflation,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween is the highest grossing horror series in the United States at approximately $761.3 million.
And that's adjusted though, right?
Right. But hey, I'm going to
Right.
take that. And
Yeah.
that's on Wikipedia. So it's,
Yeah.
you can look that up yourself.
I have all the Halloween films as well, and various versions of them. I have the theatrical and the TV
We even
versions.
have various versions of Halloween 3 Season of the
Exactly.
Witch.
I have the special edition of Halloween 3, which I haven't even
When it
watched.
comes to Halloween, I'm a completist and I don't apologize for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Now what I did
Now you
is
will notice though that this one happens to be sealed.
right.
Halloween 3.
Well, that's like say I could pull out the newest one, the
Yeah.
special edition.
I have
I
that right
did
here.
something
Right
really
here.
stupid. Do you have the digibook?
Yes. And the
Okay,
steel
but
book.
it's oh yeah, it's way up top.
Yeah, and the steel book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really liked the digibook. I thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it like cheap somewhere, like $8 or $10. So I bought like 6 or 7 of them,
Yeah.
and I just chucked the discs, and I put, Halloween and Halloween 2, Halloween
Right.
3. And I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I'll have this nice box of Halloween. It'll look, but what a stupid idea, man. Because when I want to see like Halloween 3 or not Halloween 3, but like Halloween 5,
Yeah.
I got to open all the digibooks to see which one is it. So it was like a good idea that
I'm telling you,
turned into a bad idea
one of these days, we're gonna get you to you know
to go
load all that
digital.
up on a couple of semi trucks, have an auction, and then you're gonna go all
I'm
digital.
thinking, the next move, because you've been involved in this. I've had to move this stuff.
Look, if I don't wish this on you, but if your house burns down, you're
I'm
screwed.
screwed. Yeah.
You're screwed. Me,
Although I
I'm out in
do
the
have.
I'm out in the parking lot with the fire company watching my house burn while I'm watching on my phone on Vudu my digital collection.
If I didn't give you my digital copies, I'd have probably 800 digital movies
Yeah, you keep them
because
coming.
I have over 500,
The latest edition
600.
was big, a great edition of
Yeah,
Big.
big
Yeah,
with Tom Hanks. But I've moved huge collections, not this huge because I'm at the peak now
yeah.
because I never had 4K. That rack is now stuffed. So I'm full of 4K and
That's
I
impressive.
need more 4K room. But I moved to Pittsburgh from San Diego. That was
Hmm.
my initial big move.
Right,
And I was so busy working. You came to visit me in
hmm,
Pittsburgh because you were living in Maryland.
right.
And I had this boss that was a real jerk. And I don't care. I hope he's watching. I hope he's a long time listener.
He's a Conjuring fan.
Yeah. And you came to see me for the weekend.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you were there and he says, yeah, we're going to work Saturday. And there was
Yes.
no reason for me to be there on Saturday.
I
In
think the
fact, you
devil. I
came.
think the
I,
devil
I,
made him do it.
you were waiting for me at my house,
Yeah.
and you kept, texting me or whatever. And I said, I'm like, my brother's here. Can I leave? Well, we got a few more things. I'm like, what an asshole. So, so anyway, while you were waiting for me, you set up all my movies. At that
Yeah.
time, I think there were DVDs
Right.
along with laser discs.
Yeah.
I left the laser discs in Pittsburgh because when I moved back to San Diego, and I should have never moved all my stuff because what happened is I moved for this job and it was a lot of money and you think, oh, well, the money will make it good or whatever. No, it never does. And so you set up that and I moved it back to San Diego and then I moved it back again.
Wait a second. Are you trying to blame me for the origin of your physical media obsession?
No,
Is
I'm
that
just
what's
saying
happening here?
no, I was just pointing out how you helped me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think I would have ever set them up. I had
Right.
all the racks,
Yeah.
all the movies, and they were just in tubs.
Yeah.
And I came home and there you had them nice, all alphabetized. Everything was
It gives me
great.
a headache just thinking about it,
I know.
And I used to be in that game. I never got to the level you're at, but
I've gone through it 3
I
times.
just can't. It gives me heartburn just to think
Yeah,
about it,
it's crazy.
you know?
And I know I'll have another move. And there was when I first moved away from San Diego, I had more video games than movies,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
incredible. I mean,
Right.
I had thousands and thousands of video games, and I sold them for $1,000. The whole thing.
Yes.
It was probably 50,000 worth of games.
No, anybody wants to, reach out to the O Brother podcast and make Mike an offer he can't refuse. He might just part with some of this physical media.
Every once
So,
in a while, I see somebody on eBay put a collection like this up
yeah,
for 25, 50,000. Who's buying that?
I don't
Unless it's a
know, but
store. Well, there's no stores anymore.
yeah, you need like a 12-step program or something. There's got to
I
be
I
something out
still
there.
I love being able to just walk into this room or the other room with the other racks.
Or the one around the corner. Yeah.
I love to be able to just go in and kind of like peruse. It's like being in a video store,
I
you know, back
know.
when you went to Blockbuster.
See, again, like we said in the last episode, you're stuck in the past. You're
I
stuck in the
am,
past, you know.
but you know, the digital is not caught up yet quality wise.
Yeah.
Even like when I get my 4K disc and I send you the digital,
Yeah.
the quality's different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
But
proven.
it makes it's not different
It's
enough.
yeah,
It's negligible. It is
It
negligible.
is.
And I'm gonna give us the hook, because
Right.
now all of a sudden we're doing the great debate
This is
episode part 2, which was
right.
physical media versus digital media.
That's right.
The audience doesn't want to hear that. So circling back, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. You're getting 2 thumbs up from both of us here to say
mild. I'd say like
right.
this.
Right, but if you're a horror fan,
Or
yeah,
like
definitely check this one out. I wouldn't go pay the theater prices, because when you go, you're not just buying the ticket. You're going to get sucked into buying concessions and all of that. Just save your money and, you know, watch it at home.
And I do want to say I've never paid for one of these movies. I've seen them all, but it's all because they've come on.
Yeah, you're fortunate.
TV or whatever,
yeah,
or like HBO. It was free.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. Another episode of the Oh Brother podcast about The Conjuring. So yeah, decent horror film. Again, it's not really, you know, our wheelhouse, so to speak, even though we're definitely fans of one particular horror franchise.
And me, I have a couple.
And you've got a sprinkling of some others in their collection as well, too. And I'm just going to say it, Jaws, sorry, just to end the debate. It's not a horror film. It's just not a horror film. I'd throw it in as an action film before I throw it in as a horror film.
That came up when we were doing trivia.
Yeah, it's just and I've seen it debated out on the internet as well. And
oh, really? I'm
on the side that says it's not a horror film. So there you go.
You know, although you can compare Halloween to Jaws, I think.
No. And how dare you? All right, folks, that's all the time we have on this episode of the Brother Podcast. I've been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. And we might just see you next time.
We just got the hook, folks. Bye, everyone.
Send in the clowns.